Hello, this is Randy Blevins with Kentucky Opera and Bourbon's Bistro.
Aubrey Gonzalez with USA Cares.
I'm Corey Spiker with USA Cares.
And this is Take It From Tara. I will be your host today, Tara Bassett, live from Bourbon's Bistro right here on Frankfort Avenue. How exciting is this to have you guys be able to join us for the preview of a fantastic event called Bourbon and Blankets.
Yes.
And I tell you what, you dragged me into this, Randy, and it's a tough job because there's food being cooked and there's bourbon being prepared for you guys, and it smells like heaven in here. So
It always does.
You
here
had
at
to
Bourbon's
bend
Bistro.
my arm.
Yes.
But please tell me what it is that we are actually collecting blankets for.
So it's a long story. I did an event last year called Bourbon and Blankets because I wanted to do something to help the homeless as we approach those winter months. And everybody gives during the holidays, but the holidays are almost kind of too late in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So we did a Bourbon and Blankets event last year where we had all wrapped hors d'oeuvres, pigs in a blanket, things that I personally love.
Very cool.
And we collected items just here at Bourbon's Bistro. Well, because I work with so many organizations and have had the opportunity to meet so many wonderful people, Kentucky Opera is producing a show called Glory Denied, which is about the longest held prisoner of war in our country's history.
Oh my gosh.
His name is Jim Thompson. It was during the Vietnam War. He was held for 9 years, and it's a really beautiful contemporary opera about what happens when you come home and the world has kind of moved on without you. Because
wow.
nobody knew he was still alive, and he comes home, and his wife has moved on, remarried. His son was actually born on the day that his plane was shot down. So, and I just learned this. So,
that's incredible.
yeah. So, that's a very extreme circumstance, but a lot of our veterans and servicemen and women go through a version of that. So it really afforded Kentucky Opera an opportunity to partner with veterans organizations like USA Cares. And Aubrey and I have worked together in the past, and I love this organization. So I was like, hey, I want to do this. And she's like, oh, let's make it even bigger. So that's kind of how this was born. So we have drop-off locations all over the city. You can bring a blanket, a coat, a scarf, gloves.
That's awesome.
Our costume mistress made in Afghan and donated it. I mean, it's we're
That
getting
would
so
be
much good response. Josette Miles,
Let's just
yes.
go ahead and say it because she is well known to everyone in the opera world. Anybody who's ever sung with Kentucky Opera, anyone who's ever been backstage as a crew member knows that Josette is the premier costumer in the world.
Louisville, yes.
No, the world.
She would love to hear that, yes.
So we appreciate that so much. And the fact is that, we often stop to think about folks who are living and experiencing homelessness. And, I do a lot of homeless outreach myself. And the veterans are the ones that just really capture the imagination of folks who think, how could these people, men and women, who have served our nation in war, whether it's peacetime or wartime, they've served our country, how can they end up on the street? And this is the part that's so frustrating to us, and this is why I know USA Cares has such a heart for doing this kind of work. Talk to us a little bit about USA Cares. Corey, you want to go first?
Aubrey looked like she had something.
You let Aubrey do it?
Yeah,
She wanted
I was
to,
paying
if
attention.
you wanted to chime in.
Oh, go ahead. Post away. Go ahead.
Post. And I'm sorry I'm being distracted because this food behind
Well,
us just showed up and it
I
smells
know.
amazing.
While you do
But-
that, you talk. I'm going to pull up
You-
a little
yeah.
table.
You talk, I'm gonna go
going to
eat.
pull up
Yeah.
a little table here, and we're going to get that food in front of us. 'Cause
Okay.
That's too delicious.
So USA Cares is a national nonprofit organization that assists post 9/11 veterans and
Completely forgot about that.
yeah, have a seat. Pull up a chair. Don't go anywhere. Anyway, we assist post 9/11 veterans and active duty service members and their families in times of hardship. So things that are service connected, say they're dealing with PTSD, or perhaps they had a lapse in their VA, disability checks, things like that. I mean, emergencies happen.
Yep.
They need to be able to pay their bills, and they can't. Next thing you know, it's like 30 degrees outside, and there's no heat in the home because the power got cut off.
Frightening.
So we do a lot of that kind of work. We also assist with career transition, which is a big part of what Corey does.
Okay.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so career transition we kind of launched a little over a year ago.
Yum, yum.
We started to recognize that a lot of the needs for the service members that were calling in was due to the fact that they were underemployed or unemployed altogether. And a lot of them get out of the service, like myself. I didn't know what I was doing when I transitioned out. You have very little information to go on. It's getting better as time goes on, but there's still just an enormous amount of information that these service members don't have. And it's kind of shocking to hear. Most of them have never done a civilian job their entire life, so they don't know about the resume process. They don't know about even dressing professionally.
How to interview.
How to do interview. How to.
So you're not training. You're not training them for job skills. You're training them for the job interview process.
Correct. So yeah, we don't. We say we don't offer job placement. We'll get you interview ready. So we'll go over your resume with you. We'll do mock interviews with you. We'll build social network platforms for you, like LinkedIn, and help you network with the industries that you're looking for. And then we'll, with our contacts that we have with company and corporate partnerships, we'll help you link those two together.
Well, to kind of jump onto what you just said too, there's one little piece of it that you mentioned about not getting them the jobs, but a lot of them don't know how to translate their military skills to the civilian workplace. So
yeah, because they've gotten a lot of skills while they're
exactly,
in
and they
the
might
military
not
that are
realize,
valuable to employers.
Exactly, you have someone that's coming out of the military who has years of experience dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of technology, inventory, equipment, things like that. People that come out that maybe they did, things that had to do with law enforcement, or it's basically taking these skills and going, okay, how do I apply these? How do I tweak what they are, because they really are jobs in the civilian world. They just don't sound. They don't have the same.
And just work ethic.
Exactly.
And discipline, and as a business owner myself, those things are really important. That work ethic and wanting to do a good job no matter what it is that you're doing.
Absolutely, they got leadership skills.
Yes.
They have seen all sorts of adversity. They work in some of the toughest environments you can think of.
Talk about under pressure.
So
yeah.
you go to an office and everybody's freaking out. Yeah, this is no sweat.
Yeah, exactly.
Are either of you guys former military?
Yes, ma'am.
I knew you were, because you jumped up to try to help me move the table, and I had to check and make sure that our sound was still working, because you're hooked up. But thank you for doing that. I knew instantly when you jumped up. You had to be.
Everybody at our office has some sort of
Had to
connection.
be
I'm a
former.
military spouse.
Excellent.
We have plenty of prior service members. Children of veterans, siblings, parents, the works. Everybody in there's
I love
connected
it.
somehow.
I love it. Well, Jeannie Case and Jolene Zernheld, glad that you're here. Francis Weinstock is watching. I know, Jolene's awesome. And a few other friends who've tuned in already to this Take It From Tara live on location at Bourbon's Bistro. We've got some food here. This is exciting.
One more thing came out if you want to grab that.
Oh my gosh, turn around and grab that.
This is brand new on the fall menu.
We don't have any napkins. So while we don't have napkins, Randy, I'm going to ask you, if you will, to elaborate a little bit more on Kentucky Opera's involvement in this particular fundraiser, because there's a fabulous show coming up.
Absolutely.
That this is all coordinated with, and I'll get some napkins. Don't go there. We need Caroline Knopp for stuff like this. Maybe she's the best. She's
well,
the best
normally
waitress.
I would be doing that, but since I have to go on, the opera is very busy right now rehearsing for Glory Denied, which is the show coming up November 8th and 10th at the Brown Theater. As I mentioned before, for those of you just tuning in, this is a show, an opera, a contemporary opera, about the longest held prisoner of war in American history.
Yeah, that's
Colonel
pretty
Jim
amazing.
Thompson was captured in the Vietnam War and was held for 9 years. And the opera, it's actually really fascinating the more I learn about it. I have not seen it yet or before, and we've just started rehearsal, so hopefully I'll get to have some more insight for you guys on the Kentucky Opera page through the rehearsal process. The music is fantastic.
That
I have
aria
heard
that we
the
heard.
aria you heard.
Oh my gosh, it was beautiful.
There's like 2 really good signature arias in this production. But the show is taken from letters, actual correspondence from between these 2 people, and it's really interesting how it's played out. So there are 4 characters, but there are only 2 people involved. So it's Jim and his wife, younger and older.
Oh wow, isn't that?
And I'm really interested to see how that plays out. Mary Birnbaum is our director. She directed Enemies: A Love Story last year, and for any of you who saw that
had
production,
huge reviews.
it was fantastic.
Yep.
And she is
Yep.
so creative and clever and such a great storyteller. The other thing to note is this production is going to be performed by our Sanford studio artists.
Oh, wow.
So three of our artists in training are playing these lead roles, which it goes to what kind of caliber that we attract
That's a wonderful
as Kentucky Opera.
opportunity.
The fourth cast member, main stage, who has been here before, his name is Greg Grunbrat, and he was here for our production of Showboat. Now he was in our training program a long time ago. I'm not going to,
We don't
age
age
age people, but he's,
That's sweet of you.
So as a part of this, it wasn't called the Sanford Studio Artist Program then, but it's essentially that's what it was. He is going to retire from singing after this production.
Oh
So
my
it's like this
gosh.
full circle thing
That's
for him.
amazing.
So yeah, it's a wonderful long career, wonderful human, and really enjoyed working with him on Showboat. So we're thrilled that he's back, and
Exciting.
just incredibly talented singers. So yes, again, that's going to be November 8th and 10th at the Brown Theater with Kentucky Opera. And it just really afforded us to partner with some of the veterans organizations in town to learn about what people go through when they
Yep.
return home from combat or captivity.
Absolutely.
And not only that, but what the families have to go through and sacrifice in order for their spouses to serve their country.
I'll tell you something interesting that you just said that just really touches me every time I talk to a veteran who's experiencing homelessness. They say to me, and even if they're not homeless, they say to me, the Army will do everything they can to prepare you to go in, but they do nothing to prepare you to go out. And that's a really frightening thought, because you go into a boot camp, you are torn down and put back together in the mold of the military. You spend the entire time you're in the military taking orders, doing exactly what you're told to do, and then separation day comes and nobody's giving you any kind of idea of what you're supposed to do now. And if you don't have a strong support network, if you don't have solid mental health, if you don't have good physical condition, you can just be in for a world of hurt. And unfortunately, our VA is overwhelmed, and
Yeah.
many of the veterans organizations are stepping up to pick up the slack in those particular circumstances. I know, our soon-to-be Secretary of State, Heather French Henry, has done an amazing job for veterans for her entire life, her
Right.
entire career and her entire life. But the fact that you guys are doing this is just so remarkable.
Well, there's a lot of programs that are available now
Yeah.
for those who are separating out of the military that weren't available back in the Vietnam era.
Right.
So, that's a big part of USA Cares, honestly. The gentleman, the team that started USA Cares back in 2003. Oh, you're checking out my name?
No, I didn't see your. I was
Oh,
wondering if your microphone
my mic?
didn't have a little
It's
thingy.
right there. You're
Okay.
There it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
Making sure everybody can hear what she has to say, because it's
What's going
important.
on?
It is important.
Yeah.
No, we're good.
But the gentleman, the team that started USA Cares up back in 2003, a few of them were comprised of Vietnam veterans. That there was one in particular that dealt with a lot of survivor guilt coming back, and wanted to do something for the newer generations of military veterans,
Right.
because the suicide rate was so high among Vietnam veterans. They didn't have
right.
that system, to get them back into society and, reintegrate them. And so they said, well, we're doing what we can for those groups, but let's go ahead and see if we can prevent that from happening to future generations,
Right.
which is where USA Cares came in.
That's wonderful.
We assist post 9/11 veterans, their families, active duty service members.
Yes.
And we get asked all the time, well, how come just post 9/11? Well, we rely strictly on funding, donations, foundations.
Right.
That funding that we get from donations, and we don't have enough. We can't help everyone.
You have to have a
And
mission,
yeah.
and you have to have narrow definition
Yeah.
to
So
be able to
there's-
do your job.
There's other groups that assist
Right.
the different generations that we don't, and anytime we get an application from a service member or a veteran that doesn't fit that generation
Yes.
for us, being a post 9/11 veteran, we don't just say, hey, sorry, we can't help you out.
You get the
we work with a
direction.
whole bunch of
Yeah.
other organizations,
Yep.
other nonprofits, to make sure that they get support that they need. It's always that warm handoff.
Yeah, which is a big important thing. Let's talk about the food for just a minute.
How can we ignore it?
Mr. Blevins,
It
you
smells so good. I'm about to dive into those.
I've already done that.
Yeah.
You just talked to us a little bit about what we're being served here at Bourbon's Bistro.
So this is a sampling from Bourbon's Bistro's new fall menu that just came out last week.
Okay.
These are starters that you probably will see at the party upstairs, along with some of our themed wrapped food to go along with the Bourbon and Blankets theme. Last year he had prosciutto wrapped asparagus. Pigs in a blanket. I don't know if the chef is very creative and will come up with fun things. This is the bone marrow, which is brand new on our menu this year. That has not been around before, at least since I've been working with them. And these are the maple glazed wings, which are my favorite.
Is that bacon on
And
that?
that's bacon on top.
Okay.
Yes.
Just checking.
Absolutely.
Everything's better.
My favorite, and although I love the
Oh.
summer menu in the spring, it's sad when those go away. But they're back and better than ever,
It's
apparently.
something to look forward to,
Yes,
though.
absolutely.
And
And then our charcuterie board. And I don't know what today's selections are, but it is very pretty. So you have a nice assortment of
Yummy.
meats, cured meats, cheeses, bread, mustards, dippers,
Yummy.
everything yummy.
I
So
don't
yeah,
know what this is.
That actually,
you have it?
it
It
looks
looks like
like
a
the
cheese.
cranberry Wensleydale.
yeah.
So whatever,
God,
I'm having
you're an expert.
another one.
I used to work in a cheese shop, so I'm kind of
Really?
like, oh, I know what those are.
That's
That was
awesome.
really good, Aubrey. I'm impressed.
Cranberries
What was
and
it you called
Wensleydale.
yourself that one day?
It's a cheesemonger.
It is a cheesemonger,
Thank
yeah.
you, Randy.
We've
Thank
had
you.
we've
But
had
no, but
several.
your comment made it,
I did
'cause
not
you're
know
like-
that until I was working here, though. It is a cheesemonger because we've
Were
had
you
several
a
bourbon and
cheesemonger?
cheese events.
I was at one point
Wow.
in a former life, it seems.
She's like
I think
Google.
that's-
Like I don't even.
I think
don't
that's
even
so,
Google
like, a
search
great
anything anymore.
skill.
I'll just text her if we're not at the office. I'll be like, "Hey, what is this?" And she seems to know.
She tells you, you guys have to eat some. This is part of the deal.
Absolutely.
Oh.
When you're doing Take
this
It
is a
From
good
Tar,
deal.
you have to eat while you talk, and sometimes with your mouth full.
I'm
So-
pretty sure this is with a porter. All those little brown
Oh,
spots.
yeah,
I want to try this
educate us.
cheese then,
From
but I'm not
beer.
going
Oh
to eat
my
like the whole
God, Randy,
thing.
it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, it is good.
Isn't that yummy?
Oh, it like melts in your mouth.
It's almost like, it tastes almost like bread with raisins in it.
Yeah.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Oh, it's so delicious.
Wensleydale's a good one for
I'll eat this
like
too.
a dessert cheese.
Wensleydale. Oh, I got it.
There's
I'm
another
so glad
one.
that you're here to tell us this stuff. This is fantastic.
Oh, it's blueberries. It's not
blueberries,
cranberries.
yeah.
There's
Wow. See what a great chef I am? I can't tell raisins from blueberries. Good grief, Tara.
You just know it's good.
I do know it's
I
good.
know. You just know it's good.
So, I want to talk about the space that the actual event is going to be in because we are in the main, obviously, the bar area of Bourbon's Bistro, and we picked it out just because today it's really a beautiful location with all these gorgeous bottles in the background, so you can kind of see what Bourbon's Bistro looks like. The event space upstairs, which is brand spanking new.
It's not that new.
Well, newer than the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
And I've been up there a couple of times, and it's beautiful. I mean, I cannot believe how beautiful it is.
It's really nice. It's very charming, is the word I would use to describe it. But it's basic. It's definitely a blank slate, and you can decorate it. I mean, we've had like fancy like rehearsal dinners. I had Bourbon and Bubbles events upstairs with silent disco, where we didn't have to do much but string some lights and let
Love
everybody go
that.
to town and dance with champagne.
Love that.
And bourbon cocktails, which were super fun. And we're trying to turn this side area outdoors into like the bourbon garden.
Yeah, that'll be great.
So looking forward to doing that again next summer. But then the wings go away. But whatever. So yeah, we're having the event
on,
upstairs.
Corey.
It's a wonderful space for lots of different events.
It's going to be terrific, and you can rent it out for a wedding.
You can.
You have a bridal shower. You can have
A business
meeting. You can have
meeting.
whatever
They've got
you
all
need.
kinds of AV equipment. We've had several events here with the opera in the past since I worked
Yes.
with them, and we will have a singer singing that beautiful aria that you mentioned.
Oh, terrific.
On Wednesday with our pianist, the actual person who will be playing that role.
Oh,
she will be
great.
singing the My Darling Jim aria from the show, which is wonderful. And we'll have lots of fun food and bourbon tastings and
All the great
all a cash bar, and it's $45 to attend. If you bring a donation item, you get $10 off of that. If you don't,
Wonderful.
we'll donate $10 to USA Cares.
That's very nice. Thanks, Leah Michelle Roberts, for tuning in. Hey, Arthur Miller, glad you're enjoying the show. Daryl Shelton, Susanna Parrish, Bob Schrader, Myron Wilkerson, Cheryl Evelyn Smith. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Al Everett is here, Don Birch as well. Thank you
So many
guys
fun
for.
people.
Yeah,
That's
no,
awesome.
we do. We
That I
have
know
fun.
actually know them.
I do, because they all love you. That's why they're tuning in. Randy, Aubrey, and Corey are here to talk about Bourbon and Blankets, which is a wonderful event that's actually taking place Wednesday night. So we came down for a quick preview, and I know that our beloved host, Jason, is on his way someplace, maybe arriving
soon, at
but
any moment.
Let's just give him some kudos.
Yes,
in
absolutely.
the process. Let's talk about how delicious this food is. Now, have you guys tasted this?
Not yet.
Is it spicy?
No, it's not
It's
spicy.
not
It'll
spicy?
be sweet.
Then
All
I'll
right,
taste
so
it.
let's
It's
do
just
this
messy.
and We'll just
Let's give Jason
Be
some
messy
kudos.
together.
So Jason is the owner and bourbon expert here at Bourbons Bistro. He's co-owner with John Morrison. These are all creations of Chef Jeremy
That's the little
McFarland,
I love him.
who's been with Bourbons for a while, but has been executive chef for about the last 3 years. So
Oh,
he's,
Lord,
again,
Jeremy,
very,
good
very
job.
creative, does a great job, and makes wonderful food.
He sure does. It is messy, but you know what? It's worth it.
It is worth it.
Because people
Yep.
Oh wow.
Okay, I'm going in.
Now I know why you love him, Randy.
love
I
to
sit
watch,
here at the bar and drink a bourbon neat and eat
people
these.
love to watch other people eat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you.
Really?
They get a kick out of it
And I
because
try really
especially
hard.
when we're
Get a
doing
good
a
look at this.
bite by bite description of how delicious it is, and there's a lot of mms that are coming out
Well, you
of
know,
it.
there's those videos now where they listen to people chew and crunch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not going to do that, but
Well, that's okay.
Not doing that.
That's okay, but you know what? The thing is that I always like to have a wing, but almost inevitably they're too spicy because I don't like spicy food.
Mm.
And so when they say the hotter the better, I'm like,
No,
no,
this is just right.
no, this
No,
is
this is
delicious.
sweet and
awesome.
smoky and awesome.
Oh, it's out of this world. So, what do you think? Because you eat here a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think a typical ticket price is for dinner for two
Oh, for two?
without food?
Without food.
I mean, without booze. Sorry.
You know, for those who like to
Dinner
drink
for
their
two
dinner.
without food.
My kind of dinner, because it's just drinks. Which
What
we
is it?
also do.
What is a dinner for two without drinks?
Oh, it can be anything you want. You know, it ranges from in all price levels, but I would say you could do it for like, you know, $60 with a nice appetizer and an entree, or if you want to do a salad and an entree and dessert. I mean, it's very reasonable, and
It is.
and you know,
Absolutely.
their bourbon selection is fantastic.
Really hard to
And
eat this
we also
politely
do
on
a flight of the
camera.
month every
Yeah.
month, so you can try
Oh.
new. Jason picks out, you know, 3
Clever.
bourbons every month
Yeah, I'm giving up.
that we offer at usually at a
So good.
discounted rate.
Very nice.
That people can come in and try. And even if you're a bourbon novice, everyone behind the bar
Knows what they're doing.
well, they can
guide
ask you
you.
questions and help you figure out what you like. Because really, it's about what you like. I
So
mean,
are you a bourbon drinker?
I am a bourbon drinker.
What do you like the most? Hey, Ellen. Hey, Dawn.
Well, I don't want to endorse anybody, but you know.
I know, right? Don't get us in trouble.
Well, everybody has a favorite.
My favorite right now is Jefferson Reserve, very old, very small batch. But I drink a lot of Four Roses. I drink a lot of Old Forester because that's a very expensive bottle for me. I don't think it's one of the most expensive bottles, but you know, again, you got to go out there and try them all and drink what you like. So I have a
Listen,
lot of go-tos.
Somebody told me they had a bottle of bourbon that a friend was going to buy from them for $12,000.
Wow.
What in the world could possibly make bourbon worth $12,000? I mean, it must be worth a lot
Rarity.
of money. A rarity.
Yeah.
Or how old it is. I mean, because it
Wow.
doesn't age anymore after it's, you know, bottled. So
Yeah, it ages in the
How
barrel.
much did they make of it? That you know that demand is not, you know, you don't have the supply, so then that of course drives the price up.
Good to know.
People are always clamoring for the Pappy.
Pappy Bend.
They have. I know that the wine shop down the street has like events where they do a lottery, and then people can buy the Pappy when that comes out. So I really think it has to do with like how rare the bourbon is. But
Interesting.
we have some on our flight of the month right now that are very old, and like it's like a throwback to like the 70s.
Wow.
So there's actually a bottle that looks like an old phone that's
Oh my
sitting back
God,
there.
that's so cool.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I'm a
So,
big,
yeah.
big
Oh,
bourbon.
So that
I
flight's a little
see
bit
it.
more expensive, but
Yeah,
it's
this
real.
one looks bourbon.
It's super fun, and you know, just you know, Jason likes to kind of play with it every month and like have a theme. So this is like our spooky throwback, you know, holiday or Halloween, you know, bourbon flight, which if he comes, he can tell you more about.
Does he like birthday bourbon or Weller? Somebody wants to know. I'm buying birthday bourbon for $150.
Oh wow, that's nice. Good for you. Who's getting that?
What does
Yeah.
birthday bourbon or Weller mean?
Weller is, so basically the secret got out years ago, and I'm upset about it because So
Here you
Weller,
go, when we're at Bourbon's Bistro. Pay attention.
Secret.
This is the expert.
So Weller is basically, it's made by the same makers of Pappy.
Oh.
So it's distilled the same, everything. From what I've been told, the distillation process is the same. And then once it's distilled, some goes into Pappy barrels, some goes into Weller barrels.
Wow.
So over the years, I used to be able to go up to the liquor store by my house, and I could get like a handle of Weller for $25 to $30. That's 1.75.
Handles a 1.75.
Wow.
Not
And
anymore.
now, if you're lucky to come across just like a
Wow.
liter or a fifth of it,
Lucky.
easily you're going to spend $80 to $100. now just on
$150
that.
apparently.
Oh my God, that's just
Yeah, right?
amazing.
Because they started telling people on the tour about that, so everybody started buying up the Weller.
Yeah.
Lisa Fowler from OPC Pest Control just tuned in. She's the woman who takes care of the bugs. And she's trying to get the mole out from under my front patio.
Aw.
That
I've
little
got a
son of a
chipmunk
gun.
problem if you want to type in what I
Chipmunks,
should
Lisa,
do.
can you do
I got a
that?
mold problem myself.
So she says, my son is a bourbon collector. He likes Weller 12.
Nice. I've not
Yeah.
had that.
Yeah, so it's 12
But
year.
it's expensive.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it is.
Weller
Amazing.
12,
Yeah.
and yeah, the Weller Antique.
Let me get
I
some
love
more
both of
napkins
those.
here from behind us. We're going to steal all of our napkins. Man, I'm telling you guys, I've got to go to dinner with my pal Artie because Monday night is when we go to dinner. I'm going to be stuffed.
Yeah.
I'm going to be totally stuffed.
Oh, you're going out after this?
Hi, Sharon Lawrence Brown. Glad that you tuned in. Here's a former Kentucky opera singer.
a spoon to
Sharon
go.
Brown
know.
and her husband David Brown
So
were
that's right.
members of the Kentucky Opera Chorus for several decades. And we're so glad that you are joining us today, Sharon, because to you and David, I know Kentucky Opera is dear. And this is a fundraiser for folks that is benefiting this wonderful organization called USA Cares. They've been collecting blankets and other warm things for veterans as we approach the winter months. So important. Joe Tonini just tuned in, Realty on Frankfurt Avenue. We also would really appreciate you guys continuing for the next couple of days. Where are these boxes located?
I'm gonna
Tons
pull
of
up.
places. Oh, goodness.
Is that you?
Yes.
Is that your watch calling us?
That's my alarm
That's
saying
pretty
that
cool.
I
That
gotta
you're
go
supposed
pick
to
up
be
my
on the
son.
air. Oh, do you have to
Oh.
leave?
No.
It's okay. We've
no,
got,
my
we've
son,
got-
my
let's
husband's
see,
got
it's
it.
4:30, so if you need to leave, that's fine
No,
too.
I'm good.
Joe can do all the talking. I mean, Joe Tonini can do all the talking. Corey can do all the talking.
I was going to say, that's weird. Her husband's name's Joe. It's like, how did you know that?
That is so funny. I want to know where people can drop stuff
I'm
off.
gonna tell you right now.
We've got two more days.
In addition to Bourbon's Bistro, the USA Cares headquarters on
Headquarters.
Commonwealth
Where's that?
Drive, the Fraser History Museum, who's been a great
Oh.
partner with us. We did a lovely panel discussion with all of our veteran partners about Glory Denied back in
Excellent.
October. Center Ministries on East Jefferson. 3 Republic Bank locations on
Oh,
Ruckweagle
good.
Parkway, Brookridge Village, and on Main Street. Not Main Street downtown, Main
No.
Street in
That would be probably J-Town.
J-Town, yeah. Delta Dental
Cool.
on Lynn Station, and 3 Sullivan University locations, Bardstown Road, DuPont Circle, and Atkinson Square.
Will you copy and paste that to my
Absolutely.
page, please, or share that location or whatever
I'm
you
going
want
to
to
share
do?
this, I can absolutely share this
I think
event.
It's on, yeah, it's on.
on our
his
Facebook.
Awesome.
USA Cares' Facebook. It's all over the place.
Perfect. My sister just tuned in from Orlando, so hi, Mo. Glad to have you. Anyways, I was saying earlier about Kentucky Opera. Sharon and David Brown were 2 of the members of the Kentucky Opera Chorus for many, many years. David also was a teacher at Youth Performing Arts School. Did a fabulous job as a choir director for many years there. Went and sang for presidential inaugurations.
Wow.
Sharon's been a fabulous voice teacher at Indiana University Southeast and other places for most of her adult life. And we really appreciate the work that they've done. And there are many other Kentucky Opera former cast members, whether it's ensemble or some who have sung roles in Kentucky Opera, like my best friend, Mindy Cumberledge. And the fact is that we encourage all of you to get into the last couple of days here. Take a look at those places that Randy just talked about, which he's posting to my page. You just put drop-off locations on my page. And see if you can get a couple of friends to bring a beautiful new blanket or sit down and crochet really fast. I don't know if you can outdo Josette, but it would be a great opportunity for you to participate and show the love that you have always shown.
Or you can
From
bring
the
it with
days
you
of-
to Wednesday.
Exactly.
And we'll collect it
Exactly.
there, and you'll get $10 off your admission.
Well, Thompson Smiley was the first Kentucky Opera director that I knew,
was.
and he had a long tenure.
You did.
And then some folks have followed him since. So who is at the helm of Kentucky Opera now? Tell us about
Barbara
them.
Lynn Jameson
Okay.
is now at the helm. She has been with us just over a year. Comes to us from Seattle Opera, and
Awesome.
she's fantastic. This is the first season that she has programmed. We kind of had a season program last year. She came in, had to very quickly come up with a new season, and now we're looking several seasons ahead. So it's been a whirlwind, I'm sure, for her, especially to get to know our Louisville community, but boy, has she. I mean, she has just gone out and met everybody. She loves the Louisville community. She fell in love with Old Louisville, bought a house there.
I love that.
Getting her team situated. I've had the fortune to work with the opera for just about 8 years now, and I love it. I come from the theater world. And
You
this
do.
is just it's a new way for me to experience theater with all of these amazingly talented singers that have these instruments in their throats, but also act just as well as
Incredible.
anyone I've seen on stage at a theater company. So it's a
amazing.
joy.
So my friend Chad Bruce just tuned in, and Chad, I've got to tell you, Randy is wearing the cutest shoes that I just told you.
Oh,
I was
she's-
gonna
that's
find
what
for
you were doing.
I was taking a picture of your shoes. So
I
She was doing
was
I
like, why is
will-
he
What's going on with this
I-
broadcast today? I'm like
I
looking
will
at your.
be posting a photo of Randy's shoes because I think you'd look super spiffy in them. My former co-anchor from television, John Young, is watching. Hannah Truxell is watching with the Humane League. We appreciate you and all you do for our love of animals. Yes, it is a great cause, Ellen Jones, and we're so glad that everybody is here. So is there anything else that you need to tell us about this incredible event on Wednesday night, which will be right here at Bourbon Bistro?
No, just everybody should come out, bring a blanket, get $10 off, enjoy some of this yummy food.
Absolutely.
Bourbon tastings, drinks, and we'll have singers.
It's the middle of the week.
It's the middle of the week. It's
I mean,
time
you
to
gotta get
celebrate on
something to
Wednesday.
Break it up a little
Yeah.
bit, you know?
That sounds like so much
We
fun.
love to have parties on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, we party.
On Wednesdays, we party.
I think-
and I think our tasting
Or
is
any
going to
day
be
that ends in Y, really.
Exactly.
Jason Browner, who I guess unfortunately isn't going to make it, but he has come out with his own whiskey called Buzzard's Roost, and I think that's what we were going to be tasting.
That's fun.
On Wednesday, that launched just a few months ago, and there's two versions, and I think they're really good. One of them's
Okay.
really spicy, one of them's not. So
Buzzard's Roost.
Buzzard's Roost.
Share with me this. What is this here?
that
I'm
is
getting
bone
out?
marrow.
In-
It is a bone marrow appetizer, and I don't have the details in front of me, but I just tried it, and it's fantastic.
It tastes like vegetables or something. Is there some vegetable
Vegetables?
involog there?
Probably.
Well, I see a
Well,
lot
I
of
don't know because
parsley,
I'm not a chef.
A lot of parsley, a lot of
I
garlic.
eat banana sandwiches a lot. Look at the look on
Really?
his face.
Okay.
Like peanut butter?
Like banana
and
No,
toast?
just banana,
or-
just butter, banana on bread. It's so simple. It really sustains a woman. But this is really freaking good.
There's a lot of lemon,
Oh,
parsley,
wow.
garlic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
To give that a
delicious.
try. Nothing else I've done has worked. So
Wednesday night. How much is it going to cost us to come to this event?
$45, or if you bring a coat or blanket or a donation item, $35. For
Can
you.
we get them in advance?
No, you need to RSVP.
Okay.
You can call the restaurant or email welovebourbon@bourbonsbistro.com.
No, that should be pretty easy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Thank you for your service.
thank you. I
Thank your
appreciate that.
husband for his service.
absolutely.
Your service is always greatly appreciated, military or not. You're
As
a
is
great. You're a
yours.
great service to the public, the
He's
community.
supporting it, so
Absolutely. And I just really want to thank all of you guys for tuning in today, because there is nothing more significant in my life than the fact that my parents were World War II veterans, both mother and daddy. And Wednesday happens to be the second anniversary of her passing.
Oh.
So this was important today. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you. Have a good night, guys. Love you.